In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the Treal brass inner front portal housing knuckles for the Redcat Gen 8, so stay tuned. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. If you find yourself new here, I cover everything to do with scale RC rock crawling and trailing. So if that interests you, subscribe to see more. All right, guys, so I have here the Treal Hobby portal knuckles for the Redcat Gen 8. So if you're following my channel, you know I really like my Redcat, but I'm been looking for some performance upgrades, and this is a company I've been hearing a lot about, is this Treal here. I know they started making some weights for the Capra. That kind of seems like when I first started seeing them come about, but I guess it's really high-end stuff. Now, I went to their website. It looks pretty good. I was happy with the price. These come in shipped just under $50. I believe it was free shipping. I ordered right off their website, and they didn't take too long to get here, so I was pretty happy about that. Looks like it comes with some extra hardware there in the package, a bunch of stickers, and the weights themselves. So I'm going to crack these open and let's take a closer look. So you get the sticker sheet. Here is the weights themselves. Those are the inner knuckles. So we'll get the scale out, see how much they weigh. Comes with some hardware, but let's just pop one out, see how it feels. All right, so here it is out of the box. Overall, looks pretty nice. Feels good. It's got a nice little weight to it, so we'll get the scale out and see exactly how much these things weigh. All right, guys, so here we have the scale. Let's pop one on, see what it weighs. 44 grams each, so we should have a total of 88. Look at that. So we're going to add 88 grams to the front of the Redcat, so that should help out a lot. So next, let's get these things installed. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is take my wheel off. I got to use my little scale hardware tool for those hubs I have from SSD on there. So we'll go ahead, get the wheel off like so. So that was pretty easy. And let's grab one of our weights. Try to see exactly what we're replacing. So here's what we got going on. So I am going to start the disassemble process. Okay, first up, you're going to want to go around and loosen up all these 1.5 millimeter screws in the portal box. Okay, so once you have all those screws out, you can go ahead, pull that off. So that is your outer piece now. So next I'm going to take this screw off of the steering here. It's a 2 millimeter. And we will get that off. But you need to put something to hold the screw on the bottom in. So I'm just using a Traxxas T-handle wrench here. You can see I can take that off. Okay, I'm going to put that back in there. Make sure you don't lose this little spacer that's in there. That goes in the link. And I'm going to put the nut right back on it so I don't have to worry about it losing it or knowing where it goes. Okay, so once you have the steering loose, you're going to want to go ahead and take these screws off, come in through the top of the shock, and I recommend one of these ball end hex drivers, and you can just get that right in there. Just take that right off. And note it comes with a spacer in there. After you get the top one off, you're going to want to go ahead, get this one off on the bottom. And nope, it's got a spacer. Okay, so once you have those two out, you can go ahead and pull that whole portal box right out. And we'll pull off this axle shaft as well here. You can notice it's got two flat spots for when you would insert it back in there. But now we need to take it off so we can get this gear out and the bearing. Okay, so to get this input gear out here, there's a bearing here, and there's just those 3 little screws right here. And you can just take those off and then it will push right out. So I'll show you. We'll take that screw out, and then you can just use your thumb and push out the gear and the bearing. Now I do not see any bearings in the bag that Treal supplied, so you're going to have to reuse the bearing that's in this as well. So I have to figure out how to get that out. Okay, so to get that little bearing out, I just took my driver, popped it in there, and then just popped it right out. Okay, so I am going to clean this assembly up just a little bit while I have it apart. Just wipe it down a little, and we'll be ready to install the new part. So I noticed that there was a lot of grease missing because I did go ahead and grease these gears up. So before I put everything back together, I'm just going to add some new grease on these gears. Nothing crazy, but I like to just keep them a little greased up here. Keep them working good and nice and lubed up. So that's it. That's all I need, just a little bit. Alright, so now we are all set to go ahead and start reassembling the new knuckle. You're going to slide your gear back, and your bearing is going to slide right in there. Now, they did supply some more of those 1.5 millimeter screws, so I'm going to go ahead and use their hardware and just put those 3 screws back right in the back here. They kind of just hold the bearing in there. It's like a nice little touch, so I like that design. Now this is just brass, so make sure you do not go too tight on there and strip out those threads. Okay, so now after you get that all back in, you can go ahead and slide that shaft in there. And you might have to turn the gear, there it goes, to line up that keyway. Once you get this knuckle slid back in there, you're going to want to take that spacer and put it in the hole. And they supply you with new hardware, so I'm going to go ahead and use their hardware. I'll get my 2 millimeter and get that going. Now you don't want to go too tight because that's got to turn in there. So I get the top one in. Let's get the bottom, put the spacer in, the hole, get the 2 millimeter, and get that going. I'm actually going to use my regular 2 millimeter here. Go ahead, use the supplied hardware. And you don't want to go too tight because this is going to turn. So you can see mine is actually a little too tight. That looks pretty good right there. Alright, so after you have those 2 screws on, you're going to want to go ahead, put your steering link back on. Use my little Traxxas wrench here. 2 millimeter. Go ahead and tighten that all back up. Okay, that's tight. And then all you have to do is go ahead and put the cover and that gear back in. So just put that on and grab those little screws and you're good to go. Alright guys, that is it. It is all done, all back together. Now all I gotta do is go ahead and move on to the next side. Well, alright guys, guys, I'm going to wrap it up for this video. Nothing crazy here. Just kind of wanted to show those quick, get them installed on the truck. The real update will come once I get this thing out on the rocks and see if it makes a difference or not. If you are interested in picking these up, I will leave a link down in the description for you. But you know the deal. I'll catch you guys in the next video.